Good morning, everyone. It is 9:31. We are trading the MES Z25, which is the Micro E-mini S&P 500 December 2025 contract. We are on the 1-minute time frame here. And quickly going to switch over to the 15-minute time frame here, just so we could get a bigger picture. Let's see, I'm just looking back yesterday for a couple of zones, but I don't really see much. I'm going to extend this, I'm going to extend this zone here just to see. Okay, so we crossed that zone, so we're going to negate that. I believe we tapped into this one yesterday, where this was, yeah, we made a clean sweep at 245 this morning. It looks, oh no, where was that yesterday? Oh, let me look. This is 315, 530, 730. Yes, I was at 2 or 3 o'clock this morning where we tapped into this zone. So we are going to keep that. That was a perfect reaction off that 15-minute zone. So we're going to drop back down to the 1-minute chart here and start to look to see if we can't find some other zones here. Okay, so we're just going to kind of watch this here. Head on over to the 15-minute real quick again. Now, I'm not sure how much further down we're going to push in this 15-minute candle, which closes at 9:45, obviously. So I am just going to kind of watch this a little bit and see what's going on. That candle extended even further down, a couple more points. If you see me look off to the side over here, I am also trading Dogecoin US dollar tether. I've been on quite a winning streak in that. I have not lost a trade in, I don't know, 8 sessions, which was about 40 trades-ish. Maybe it might be in the 30s, never mind. So about 30 trades. Yeah, because I was just thinking it was like 5 trades a day, but I usually only take like 3 to 4, so 4 is 32. Yeah, so it's in the 30s, I would say. Let's see, I will pull up the chat so I have that as well. I'm just kind of watching this. Obviously, we're just kind of heading straight down here, so there's not a lot we could do. I maybe should have jumped on this a little bit earlier, but I didn't see it. I saw this coming up a little bit higher than this area right there, so I kind of, you know, didn't expect it to go down to drop, 10 points in 1 minute basically. So So I am just going to kind of continue to watch this here. I kind of do really. I guess we could say that this right here could be considered a 15-minute zone. Because you do have the low and that old zone down below it. So we might see a reaction off of this zone if we get down to there. We can also say, let's see here, I'm going to scroll over to the side because I know there was one. There was also one here, but that was tapped into like twice, so we're not going to use that one. Let's see. And above that, I believe this one was already tapped into too, but yeah, so that was the zone that was cleared this morning. So right where the gray box is currently, the one that's highlighted, that's kind of what I was looking at this morning as the area that I wanted to trade in, and I was just a little bit too early because then I saw these two old highs resting above it, where the two dotted yellow line and the solid yellow line are, and I looked at that and said, yep, that would be another area that it could get to at 9:30. So I did not take that trade. But now here we can look at these two zones below and see if we're going to head that way. We might want to. I really would like to see, yes, I believe that's yesterday's low. Yeah, that is yesterday's low. taken out. And there is kind of a zone in that area. I'm not going to extend that out yet because it sits on top of another old zone, so it just kind of makes it look messy. So because what we should do is draw that zone out larger, and then that way there the tap from this morning at around 3 a.m., which is highlighted right now by the cursor, that or around 3:15, that was the old zone as well. So I just want to keep an eye on those because those are 15-minute zones. And then here we're going to look at the hourly. There was one hourly zone that did interest me, but we already tapped it. Hold on. Yeah, it was tapped yesterday here at like the highs, so like that zone's kind of invalidated because it'll probably run the highs when it gets up there again. And you guys could see it's at 67.1950. So I mean, on the hourly, the trend is still up. On the 15-minute, it is still up, barring this 9:30 candle right here. The trend is still up. So the last 15 minutes, the previous 15-minute candle, not the 9:30 candle, but the 9:15 to 9:30 candle, that one does kind of look like a top. But I'm not sure, and that's why I'm kind of waiting till after 9:45 to see what forms to give myself a real bias. But right now we are still bullish. We're still just kind of watching this. Not going crazy here. If you haven't rolled your contract to the December contract, you should do that definitely by today. I would have done it this morning. Volume on the December contract now far exceeds the old September contract. So if you're using a perpetual contract, you don't usually need to roll. That kind of automatically does it. But the perpetual contracts sometimes have different prices than the current front-facing month. I couldn't think of what to say there. I was like, what is it called? Yeah, front-facing month. Okay, so again, now we're opening with a little bit lower here on this 15-minute candle. So we are going to drop down to our 1 minute and see if there are any zones of interest on the 1 minute here. I could make an argument for that 15-minute low right there that we're probably going to reach for it. I don't know if we're going to continue from there. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm just kind of watching this right now. I'm still under the assumption that we are going up from here. But I want to see it take this wick before I'm going to enter anything long here. Yeah, that was way too fast. Okay, well, we missed that one. So this right here was the POI. This isn't a... Oh, it is a zone, actually. It hit the midline. Oh, okay. I did not see that because of the low down there, so that was a perfect zone setup here that I missed. That was my fault there. Yep. Can't believe I did that. So here's another perfect example of an order zone. As you could see, the order zone was formed, and about 4 or 5 candles later, it then takes off out of the zone and continues to push higher. That was this morning at around 9:45, and as you could see, it does continue to push, and this would have been about a 2-to-1 trade as of now. We'll see what happens. So this was a perfect order zone here. As you could see, the order zone formed, and about 4 or 5 candles later, we were at the center line for the order zone, and then we moved up from there, and we continue to move higher. Up from there, and we continue to move higher. So this was a perfect order zone here. As you could see, the order zone formed, and about 4 or 5 candles later, we were at the center line for the order zone, and then we moved up from there, and we continue to move higher. Okay, so since we have that order zone that played out amazingly, we are going to have to wait until something else forms here so that we can see what really is going on further along here. I did just miss that trade because I was looking to enter in somewhere around here, but I did not see that that was a perfect order zone. Did anyone grab that trade or see the zone was filled and not violated? let's see if we clear this area right here. Yeah, so like we saw on the hourly chart, the trend was still up. The trend on the 15-minute was up, just barring that 15-minute candle from 9:30 to 9:45. We are almost back up to highs already. Yeah, I mean, I point out the zones that I'm going to be trading and stuff like that. They're all on my chart. You can just kind of take a look at it and see, and they're all there for you. I don't, hide anything, but I don't run a signal service. I'm not telling you when to get in, to get out, or anything like that. When I take a trade, you'll see it on the screen. You don't have to enter or exit at the same time I do. I would kind of advise against that. Again, this isn't a signal service, and this is, not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. All right, so we're going to go back down to the 1 minute here to look. And, as you can see, we did this little retrace right here and then came down, tagged the zone, and then moved up from there. Now here we're kind of running up against this high a little bit, and that kind of does look like that might be the end of this move. So, if you're still in this trade, now might be the time to trim or, exit the position. Yes, you would have gotten about 10 points out of that move, 10, 11-ish so far. And maybe you leave one runner for a good 15 to 18 points. But let's see. So kind of looked at like that first 15 minutes of market open was kind of like the fake out, because we were in a bullish trend, kind of like reverse for a pullback. Now we'll see if we continue higher to that 67.1950 level, which there are multiple highs resting there, or if we're going to kind of stay in this range. The 10 o'clock candle will kind of tell us. I base most of my stuff off of the 15-minute chart, because there's 4 15 minutes and a 1 hour candle, and then you have 4 of the hour candles in a 4-hour candle, which spans most of the day's session. And then the daily, you have your day range. So that's kind of just how I key off of it. So I daily, hourly, 15-minute, 1 minute. I skip over the 5 minutes. I feel like that time frame has too much noise. A lot of people use the 5 minute time frame, and things have changed a little bit. And now maybe the 1 minute time frame is a lot more used. So there might be a lot more 1 minute fake outs. So you may actually have to drop to a 30-second or a 15-second to look at those. But I still wouldn't drop any further than a minute for when you're looking for zones, because below that in the seconds time frame they are less reliable, because you have a lot of wicks or candles pushed down. So okay, so now we are heading back down again. So we're going to take a look at this. I'll move this over here so you guys can see that a little bit better. I had it in front of my face, but so we did not take the high from this morning, so which is interesting, because now we might be switching that kind of looks like a clean bottom forming right there. So again, now I think maybe we do go take those highs. Let's see if this gets taken here in this next 40 seconds or so. I don't know if you guys could hear, my dog is snoring like crazy. He's having a good time over there. Okay, so we took that low. Probably going to continue down a little further here, or I'm hoping we do at least to tap into that zone again to try and get long. Yeah. And there may be our clean low. So, I mean, I guess this could be considered a zone here, and that midline. So let's see if we cross that midline here. This may be a good spot for a long. If we don't cross this midline, okay, and we're going to target above there. Target right there. And our stop will be right at the midline. Actually, I might tighten this up a little bit here. I'm just gonna, yep. That is what I did not want to see. Okay. Okay, so we're going to watch this next candle here. That was kind of what I was afraid of. We're going to remove that. Well, if we can't get below that low, maybe it is a good time for a buy here. We didn't touch it again. Did not have a great reaction off of it though. So it does look like we're going lower. Oh, huh. Could be fooled here. Wow. Yeah, there's your reaction. Alright, so now we're kind of this has kind of become a little bit of a chop here. So we're just going to kind of chop back and forth. Let's see if this breaks out of here. I don't think it's gonna. Right so far. It broke out. Alright. Well, I needed to hold that trade a little longer, I guess. Second tap of the center line was what did it for me. Made it so I didn't like the play anymore because yeah. Oh well. Live and learn. But yeah, that it didn't take that low, so it kind of formed like a little double bottom there on an internal low. So kind of see that forming. Yeah, we would have been in profit if we held. We dipped back in. Yeah, it was almost almost a third touch of that. I missed that trade. That was a good one too. Oh boy, sucks. Okay, sorry guys. A neighborhood politician was at the door. He came by yesterday, so I didn't think. Oops. All right, there we go. That was a good trade. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to a 15-minute. Okay, so we are gonna get rid of that. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a box around the wiki there. Okay, so then we will Drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Okay, so that box is basically the wick for the 9:45 candle. And what I'm going to do is, as you can see, we took out the midpoint of that box there. Okay, there we go. We brought that back into the frame there. Sorry, I had that way off. Now I want to see if we're gonna run back up here. I'll take another short. If not, I'm just gonna let it go. So now we're moving down here. And let's see if we break this low here. I thought it might just shoot back up and come tag me. If it doesn't break this low, I don't love entering a trade here. All right, so we're just kind of watching this. Looks like it's holding a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, in the next. All right, we might take it out now. Yep, so we took that out. So we're going to move lower now. All right, so we got a little bit of profit on that trade, not much. Alright, so now here I'm just watching. I thought I was going to take another trade, but the opportunity kind of did not present itself, so that's kind of what happens in trading sometimes. So it looks like we're going to head back up maybe. I kind of want us to tap into this zone down here that's below one more time and see if it holds. But since it didn't, I still think shorts are valid. I'm just not going to be taking anything from here. Just not a good position, so. If you see me looking over here, I'm trying to manage a trade on Dogecoin US dollar tether that I have. Let's see. Seriously, why is that? Oh, this is not working. What is going on here? Okay. Yes. Okay, so it still needs to be made smaller here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I had that so big over there. Yeah, we are coming down more. Okay, that's kind of what I thought would happen, which is okay. I'm just not interested in anything else right at the moment, so we can bring this down a little bit, actually. Okay, so we do have okay. So I'm looking at, we do have an order zone on US dollar tether just in case at 0.26400 is the top, and then the midpoint is 2 262 or 26300 ish. It's at 27,140 now, so we do need to move about another penny and a half ish. This has now become a chop zone, so I'm not sure I would be any. Kind of not the reaction I was looking for here, but we're still kind of in that chop zone, so. Yeah, ski. So one of the things that I try and do is that in a zone like this, I'm not going to trade, where price is just kind of inactive and going back and forth. Now, if you're a hyper scalper, this looks amazing to you because you just high to low, high to low, high to low, high to low, and back and forth and back and forth. I used to trade that way. I used to scalp way more than I even do now, which even now people say is a lot, that I have a lot of trades during the day. But I mean, as you could see, the reaction's off of the zone. So there's this reaction here to the left, right there where my cursor is. And we went up to about there. So on that trade, you probably made about 10 points, 9, 10 points. So now I have to do that multiple times a day to capture as many points as I can, because the MES moves about 80 points in a day on average. That move may be up and down, up 40, down 40, up 20, down 60, or up 30, down 30, up again 40. So I'm trying to capture those that movement. So there's not, when you're trying to capture a move from here to there to there to here to there to here, you're the potential to make more money is there, and the potential to have more trades is also there. I may use some ICT concepts. I probably just call them by different names because that's what I know, because as you could tell, my beard is pretty gray, so I'm kind of old, so I had different terms for things, even though they are probably some of his concepts, things that he uses, but it's not generally ICT. I mean, look, most of us trade price action and support and resistance. And that's pretty much it. I mean, a sweep of liquidity is resistance. A sweep of liquidity the other way, support. It's kind of the same type of thing. I mean, and supply and demand, support and resistance, supply and demand, same general concepts. ICT has fancy names for them, and then there's things like where I say the middle of my box, he says consequent encroachment. I mean, I don't know that that's. I don't know that either is right or wrong. It's just a different way to say it. So, the chooch term change in state of delivery, I would just call it a reversal. Yeah, I mean, so it's not, there's nothing, I mean, look, trading really is boiled down to this: buy low, sell high. If you want to short the market, it is selling high to buy low. Just in reverse order. I mean, that's what futures is. You're doing one of the two. You're either hoping the market goes up or down, and depending which way you're going, you're either buying or selling. That's it. Then you do the opposite to close the trade. Pretty simple. Like, we try and complicate these things so much, and make things into things they're not. Yeah, I mean, I do have. Sometimes I have a fairly busy chart, other times I don't, and it's just so that I remember where I marked things and that I remember where those areas of interest are to me. I mean, again, like I see term of the POI, the point of interest. So all the things that you see on my charts are points of interest. 67.1150, that old high. 67.1950, another high. I probably should put another yellow line right here at 67.1275, but I don't feel like I need to because it needs to get through 67.1150 first. So yeah, 66.9675, that's a point of interest. The order zone is marked between 6700 and 6697.75, I believe, or 7750. So those are all points of interest. Yeah, I mean, because they're points of interest, it's not that anybody else, like I said, ICT concepts are ICT concepts. I don't necessarily trade. Okay, so now here's that move down. Okay, so now we've tapped that midline. And now here it looks like we're going to take out this zone, which is okay. We know it's a weak zone already because we did have a touchback there, so we're not too worried about it if it goes down and takes out this low. We should have traded to this zone further, but in that chop area, I didn't love it because it was chopping around. So I just chose to not re-enter after the initial trade over here. So that's just, you know, now what we're going to do is we're going to walk ourselves over to the 15-minute chart here, because there is that 15-minute wick at 66.90, 675. So we'll see if we reject off that or if we push through it, because I'm pretty certain this zone is looking much weaker after the other tap into it. So although now here we are seeing some rejection. So let's go back down to the 1 minute so we can kind of follow this and see if we want to trade it out of here or not. Okay, so now we're just kind of watching here, see if it's going to break this zone or if we're going to reject off the bottom of this box and not take out the low, which sits right below it. Okay, so now we've taken out that low, so we can remove this and we can remove our old low. And we can head back over to our 15-minute chart and see if we could There we go. There's a little scalp right there. And now okay, so we are looking for 66.87. I am not going to touch anything else for now until we get to that zone. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I don't see any other reason to kind of take any trades right here. I do wish I stayed in that scalp a little bit longer. Could have picked up another couple points, but that's fine. It's a Friday. We can tick back a little dough here. No, I mean, I'm a self-funded trader. I'm not a prop firm trader, though I don't really use prop firms, so. No, no, I trade live accounts. Yeah, like real live accounts, not prop firm live accounts. Like, where you actually have to take money, put them in. Not buy an account. You're putting money into your account. I have to make the distinction. I mean, sometimes when people are new, they don't understand that you don't have to buy an account. You could literally create an account. I've had people tell me that before. Well, how much did you buy it for? And I'm like, well, I didn't buy my account. I just funded it with $10,000 or $1,000. Whatever it was, $100,000. That doesn't matter. It's just I've personally funded it. It's not. I don't have prop firm money. So I guess that's one way to look at it. Yeah, I mean, prop firms have their use cases. I just don't see a use case for me for prop firm funding. Um, if I was going to go with a prop firm, I would probably just go to work for an actual company that, does trading. I feel like that would be more advantageous. Work on a risk desk than, basically being a contract employee for a prop firm where you don't get any real benefits or anything else. I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe, like I said, there are use cases for it. If you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money and you need to build an account quickly, prop for money will help. But I think if you have $500, you could safely trade micros with very, very tight stop losses and do okay. So because you have to remember on the MES, 1 point is $5. So if you have a 2-point stop loss, you could definitely survive for a while on a $500 account. Now, if you don't know what you're doing and stuff like that, oh wow, that was a heck of a move up there. Wow, I was not expecting that. Wow. Okay. There was some resistance there, or some support. Oh, sorry, demand. Nah, that was a crazy move. Yeah, I mean, so you can. I mean, there's definitely, like I said, there's definitely use cases for prop firm money. If you stack a bunch of a prop firm accounts, and then you could build yourself a live account by taking a couple payouts, then you don't have to follow their rules. And then if you blow up your funded, you're fine. Now you have that. Now you need to have a plan, like a real trade plan, and be able to really trade by the time you get to this. So if you're first starting out, yes, prop firms can help you get to that position. But I think I could take a $500 account, just take $500 out of my bank account, slide it into any brokerage, and I could build that faster and with more accuracy than I could stacking 5 prop firm accounts on each other. But that's me, because I've been doing this for a long time and I understand what it takes to build accounts. I mean, because years ago there were only a few prop firms, and even years before that there really weren't any. Or in order to get into those prop firms, you had to be a really good trader, and they had like application processes and other things and stuff like that, where the trading was more based on merits, and you really weren't buying the account. You were being paid to trade their money. You weren't necessarily buying an account like it is in today's world, which isn't bad. It just was different. So I didn't have the opportunities that some of you guys have now, because they really weren't around. So I didn't really use them. So that's why I think I could just take a small personally funded account and build that faster and better than if I took prop for money. Because remember, when you have a 50K account or 100K account, whatever it is, your max drawdown is really the size of the account, because that's what ultimately would get the account closed. Not, yes, now they have some prop firms have contract limits and other things as well, but ultimately that's the size of the account that you're playing with. And like I said, if those 50K account cost you, I don't know, let's say, and I know they have sales and some of the sales are good. Let's just assume that it cost you $300 before you can have a live funded and do what you need to do. So for $200 more, you could start another account and be pretty safe and build it and trade it away, instead of just trying to full port it and pass in 2 days, or pass these things in just a couple of days. You're able to start your mentality off correctly and not dive into those things. So yeah, and I mean, all my trades are real money. It's when I lose, this isn't any practice trading. I'm not on sim. This is actually my accounts and things. So it's a little bit different. There's a little bit more there has to be a little bit more nuance to my trading than just flipping prop firm money or uh, you know, practice trading, demo trading, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, when I lose, I actually lose money. When I make money, I make money. It's yeah, I mean it. For someone like me, the you know, if you were, I see what you're getting at. You want to know, like, do I think like these other traders that are on, doing lives with, prop firm accounts, is that real money? I mean, not really. I mean, it's not real money. I mean, now I don't know if this is true of all prop firms, but most of them just use live data, and the orders aren't being executed on the market. Or if they are, the firm could be taking the opposite side. So, like, if you had a trade that you sent into them as a buy at, I don't know, 6,700, they may take a short at 6,700 because they could do whatever they want with that information. I mean, do these trades actually go to the market? With the software overlays and stuff, I don't know if you would ever know. So maybe these are just simulators with live data, and then the company pays you out, but they make so much money from all the people that fail the accounts that they don't need to have it. I mean, I don't really know. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, all right, it is 11 o'clock, and it is a Friday, a quad witching Friday. So I think I'm going to be done streaming so I can concentrate a little bit more on the actual markets. Streaming does take, some forethought and stuff, and you actually have to, pay attention. But thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. I will be back on Monday at 9:30.